Hi everybody, welcome to another in a series CSEC CXC Geography Made Simple. Now today I continue the conversation that I ended with the last time. The last time we spoke about agriculture in the Caribbean. We talk about what is agriculture, what is farming, and we talk about the different types of farming, and we talk about comparative analysis between Caribbean agriculture versus let's say developing country, and we use Canada and USA as a prime example. Today, we'll be looking a little bit more on that. We'll be looking at the different types of farming in per se as to type of agriculture, and we'll be looking at some problems and possible solution so as to manage these problems. Now, before we continue, let us look at the categories of agriculture. Now, agriculture is divided up into several different groups. Whilst I might not list all of them, but these are just the prime ones that exist in the Caribbean for now. So we have what we call arable farming, we have what we call pastoral farming, we have what we call crop cultivation, aqua farming, and we also have dairy farming and cattle farming. Now, let us go to the first one, which is dairy farming. Dairy farming is the rearing of cows so as to produce milk, right? Now, milk is, yeah, you also have goat milk, but another person's not really in that. And I asked my students the other day if they have ever drunk goat milk, and everybody said, wow, what's that? I remember I usually drink goat milk when I was much smaller with my grandparents in the country, and it tastes really nice, right? You should try. But anyway, let's continue with the lesson. Alright, so here you have dairy farmers. Dairy farmers, they have their cows, female cows, and they actually use these cows so as to produce milk. And milk is used within several sectors to do baking, and it's also used to make cheese, and it's also used to do other things that makes several different beverages in which we consume today. All right, then you have what you call cattle farming. Now, cattle farming is where you get the beef from. For example, you might have some cows, and cows are groomed, or should I say, taken care of for a period of time, and these cows are slaughtered. Let's say every 3 years you have some amount of cows, and you slaughter them, and you get some monies, and you purchase some other cow, and you go along. So you end up with cow head, you end up with oxtail, you end up with stew beef, you end up with the different type of meat products that comes from a cow. Then you have pastoral farming. Now, pastoral farming, as it suggests, it refers to animals such as pig, goat, sheep, right? Pig, goat, sheep. Probably I don't remember another addition, but these are the primary ones that exist within the Caribbean today. Pastoral farming, they concentrate on keeping, rearing, producing these animals as a source of protein or meat for our society. Then I did not mention this at the initial onset, but you also have poultry but you also have poultry farming. Poultry farming is not only limited to the rearing of chickens. Poultry farming is also including ducks, geese, bird, turkey, chicken, right? Anything that has to do with feathers, you refer to that as poultry farming, right? So you have the fried chicken, KFC fried chicken, turkey neck. These are a prime example of poultry products. Then you have what you call aqua farming, aquatic farming. Now, aquatic farming refers to the rearing of creatures, aquatic creatures that lives in water. For example, shrimp, lobster, fish. You might have others, but these are those in which I am mentioning too right now, right? Aquatic farming. Then you also have pastoral arable farming. Pastoral arable farming refers to the mixture of both, I could call it agro farming, the mixture of both crop cultivation and the rearing of animals. Some persons might have a big fowl coop at the back of the yard, right? And in that big fowl coop, they might have full cage. They might have probably about 40,000 chicken, right? And they might have 3 acres of property. They might have 3 acres of land in which they actually do some cultivation. Now, both work in tandem with each other, because what happened is that the chickens will actually give off waste, and the waste is used so as a means of fertilizer for the soil that they are actually cultivating for crop cultivation in the future. So as a result of that, you might have persons spending less on fertilizer. So you end up with poultry farming, aquatic farming, cattle farming, dairy farming, and you also have pastoral farming. In addition, you have pastoral arable farming. So in addition to that, you also have what I call crop cultivation. Not everybody who actually goes into farming rearing animals. Some persons goes into farming and they choose just to till a piece of land and to actually cultivate crops such as banana, yam, plantain, potato, coconuts. These are the primary crops that are grown on the farm. This is referred to as crop cultivation. All right. So now that we have actually underlined underscore what are the different type of agricultural practices within the Caribbean, or should I say farming in the Caribbean, let us look at some problems facing the agricultural sector in the Caribbean in comparison to those that might exist in, let's say, in North America or in another developed country. Okay, one of the primary problems in which farmers actually face within the Caribbean is that of predator larceny. I mean, persons might end up with, let's say, 2 dozen or 3 dozen goats, right? And they have the goats, and the goats reach to a certain size. Now, as soon as the goat reach the size in which it is ready to be slaughtered, somebody comes in the middle of the night or whenever you're not there and actually either steal the goat or actually slaughter the goat on spot and take the meat and carry it and sell it illegally. This is one of the problems facing a lot of farmers within Jamaica, within the Caribbean itself. Another problem facing Caribbean farmers is that they find it difficult to introduce technology or machinery on their plantation or on their farms, primarily because they do not have the capital. So both works hand in hand. The lack of capital and the extent in which technology is introduced within the farm. Now, what happened is that a lot of farmers that would want to use technology within their farming, practices, find it very difficult because they do not own property. Financial institution will not lend monies if the farmer is not the sole proprietor of the property. So therefore, if I have a piece of land and my name is not on the title, and I go to the bank and I say I want $30 million to borrow so that I can invest a little bit more in my land so that I can plant some crops and sell it and get some more money and pay you back and earn some more money, they will not give it to you unless you have some amount of capital, or should I say some amount of asset that can withstand that investment. Now, this is one of the problems that Caribbean farmers do face, right? So, another problem which Caribbean farmers do face is that of natural disaster. The Caribbean is located within an area referred to as the tropics. The tropics is prone to what they call dry season and wet season. During the dry season, the Caribbean farmers face the problem of drought. Not having enough water to actually water their crops is one of the sole problems on an annual basis, right? As a result of this, a lot of crops the price tend to go up during the dry period, and during the wet period, is either the crops are flooded out, destroyed, it grows so much, produce so much that the cost of the crop is so small. I mean, you know, what you would purchase during the dry season. Let's say that you would purchase a dozen banana for $150 during the dry season. During the wet season, a lot of rain is falling, you might end up get a dozen banana for $60. As a result, the farmer that actually pushes out a lot, investing a lot of money, might end up not earning the amount of capital, or should I say, the amount of money is needed so as to actually replenish his or her stock. As a result of that, the farmer actually loses, right? Because remember, in farming, you have the middleman and then you have the person who actually sells at the market, right? So the monies that the farmer actually sell the middleman the money for might be so small that the farmer might not earn much. Now, that is another problem is the farmers actually face. Another problem is the farmers actually face is that of marketing their produce. Now, sometimes you have what you call glut on the market. Having a glut on the market in agriculture is like very devastating to farmers. You have a field filled with pumpkins, and not knowing that your other neighboring farmer planting pumpkins also, or should I say farmers in general also planting pumpkin. When you all meet up at the same spot to sell your pumpkin, you realize that it's only pumpkin, or should I say the majority of the crops that are being sold are similar. Thus, a competition for the sales is there. As a result, you have to drop your price. Because if you don't drop your price, what you'll find is that persons will not purchase your item, and your item, because it is perishable, it will actually decay, and you want to get rid of it as quick as possible. As a result of that, a lot of farmers tend to lose every year with this problem. So far we have listed at least 4 problems faced by farmers within the Caribbean. Another problem faced by farmers in the Caribbean is the reluctance of the persons, or should I say countries, within the local to actually accept the produce as imports from their local country. For example, as I said before, it's really very, very difficult for a farmer, a dairy farmer in Jamaica, to actually sell milk, dairy products to, let's say, a country like the United States of America, because the government will actually put in sanctions, making it really unproductive for you. When I say unproductive, I mean you don't really get much money as profit for you to actually spend so much time and effort selling milk to a middleman in the States to sell your milk to the supermarkets and the other places that would normally purchase your milk, because it's a policy that Pastor Christian in Pitney first. That means you always look for those persons near to you before you look for persons outside. The country, the government, the policymakers caters for those persons that are doing farming in their country first before they consider those persons wanting to sell in their country. Strange enough, a lot of Caribbean countries do not practice this. They allow this same country, United States of America, to actually purchase from North America, whether it be Canada or America itself, to actually ship produce to Jamaica without much restriction. For example, I don't know if any of you have actually seen the different types of cabbage, sweet pepper, and the size in the carrot and the size in the tomato, right? These are normally Gmo foods, and they normally come from developed countries, and persons normally buy them because they look pretty and they look fancy to go on, let's say, on a table where there's a big function. You want it to look good, so they purchase those. Whilst Jamaicans, or shall I say Caribbean, other Caribbean countries might have produce similar in nature but different in size, in the sense that Caribbean carrots might small so, while American carrots might big so. So as a result, the larger ones are preferred, which is normally full of water. Anyway, All right. So these are some of the problems faced by Caribbean farmers. Now, what are some of the problems faced by developed countries farming sector? One of the problems faced by developing countries farming sector is one of the problems that we face, that of competition. Right now, Mexico and Brazil, right, they are very astute and they're deliberate in the production of agricultural crops, and these agricultural crops are being shipped to North America for sale, thus actually competing with other crops. That is not similar in nature, you know. It's different in construct. However, what the nutrients in which those crops in America could have given, um, the Brazilian and the Mexican crops are there, and it's like it's a tug of war as to competing market. However, but goods for goods, America will not allow that. All right, so let us look at another problem. Another problem in which developed countries are facing as far as agriculture is concerned is that they are facing the problem of limited amount of persons wanting to go into agriculture. Now, in today's landscape, as far as career is concerned, agriculture is not looked upon as a career that persons would really invest in their time and their energy. Right? Agriculture is seen as a basic career move, one in which persons just do because they can't find anything other than that to do. You would not go to the university to learn how to do specific type of farming so that you can actually become rich out of farming. That is for most teenagers, young adults in America today. So that is one of the problems facing the agricultural sector in America. Another problem facing the agricultural sector in America, or shall I say in developed countries, is that of GMO foods. Now, GMO allows the product, for example, GMO foods allows the product to grow and to grow very pretty, right? It grows very nice and it's huge, and you know it's delightful to see, right? The thing about GMO is that because it is GMO, it is genetically modified food, is that you cannot actually plant the seed that comes from a GMO food. For example, let's say that you get some corn that is GMO and you plant them, right? You see, once you plant those corn are built for planting. But you see, the corn that actually comes at that juncture after the corn comes, it sends out new buds and all that. And you know, you cut the corn, and after a while, the corn actually dies. You cannot use the dry grains from those corn that was initially cultivated out of a GMO seed to actually plant more corn. You now have to go back to where you got the GMO from and actually purchase more GMO seed so as to plant. So therefore, you're always depending on the manufacture of GMO so as to allow your crops to be looking good and to be competitive, because persons these days no longer go at taste, they go at looks. Alright, taste is one of the last factor that person actually measure whether or not your produce is actually good for tasting, right? Good for consumption, good for the human body. It's mostly the looks. You drive a car not primarily because of the car look, right? You drive a car primarily because how much mileage the car can give you. Well, some persons might not see it that way. Some persons don't really business about the mileage. They look at the beautiful car. How beautiful the car is, yet still the car can only carry you on a full tank of gas probably for about 100 miles, and that is it. Right? Okay, so this is another video in our agricultural series. It is hope that you understand what is being said with regards to agriculture in the Caribbean. Join me next video as I wrap up agriculture in the Caribbean, as I share with you a little bit more about agriculture in the Caribbean, way forward, and what governments are doing so as to manage agriculture in the Caribbean. Thank you. Catch you next time.